Hello.
Hello, friends.
So today we are here to talk about...
We're gathered here today.
Have a small love triangle analysis of Never Have I Ever.
Between Ben, Davy, and Paxton.
Yes, a very, interesting case.
It was almost predestined from the beginning that those two were going to be... was between Davy's love interest,
yes.
I guess you would say.
I would agree.
Yes, because even though she always wanted Paxton, you could tell Ben was either jealous or there was some kind of situation where it was kind of awkward. I don't know. But you could tell.
So this is how we are going to determine this. We will first talk about Ben, all of Ben's strengths, perhaps weaknesses. Then we will do the same for Paxton. Then we will reveal who should be with Davy.
In our opinion.
In our opinion.
I mean, as objective as it can be.
Not saying we're experts, but...
Yes, we're just observers. Like, you can have a different opinion.
So first we talk about Ben. So, for one, we know Ben is very receptive to when something is wrong with Davy.
Yes.
He can see through the facade. So, point one.
Can I add on something?
Yeah.
If it involves Paxton?
Yes.
Whenever Ben asks Davy if she's okay, he's talking about, like, emotionally, when something's wrong. But when Paxton asks Davy if she's okay, it's always, like, physically, because when she's hurt.
Okay. So, for one, after they were in the principal's office, Ben says, "I could tell something was bothering you." And then after that, he goes further to tell a story about him and Shira to try to make Davy feel better. At the party, when Davy decides to drink, when does he do this? He stops bickering with her as they're accustomed to and says, "Maybe you should slow down." He was concerned, and he let go of it for how he was caring about her.
He can put their argument aside when he knows that she might hurt herself or that's something that's important.
Ben could see how the ambulance affected Davy when they were on the bus for Model UN. Also, he says, "What's going on? Are you okay?" after the fight with Eleanor and Fabiola. Now, secondly, we know for a fact that Ben has feelings for Davy, and this is why. For one, you could tell that he is jealous whenever it is mentioned that Davy is with Paxton.
Yeah.
And even though he is jealous, he said, "Sorry if I messed things up for you when jealous." Because all he wants is for them to work out, because he just wants Davy to be happy. And secondly, we also know about Ben's feelings for Davy because of all the things he says when he's drinking. How at the Model UN thing, the whole bickering was done and he just wanted to be friends. And when they were at his party, and then he wanted to kiss her twice. So you see that is how he truly feels about her.
If I might add...
After Davy ruined his Model UN plan that they agreed their alliance upon, and Davy's mother invited him over for dinner after he went to her as like a dermatologist, he only said nice things about her to her mother. He could have really roasted her because she was drinking, doing not good stuff. And he only said nice things about her. And that was pretty, that really shows his character. And then, when her mother and Kamala were going to spread her father's ashes, he first offered to drive her to her house, then he offers to drive her to, I think it was Malibu, is that where it was? And then he waits for her, and he's like, "I just wanted to make sure you were okay." Like, that's how you know he cares.
He goes out of his way to do all of this stuff, and he really cares about her best interest. He wasn't going to let her emancipate just because she wanted to in that moment. He called up her friends to help her. He went through all this stuff that he didn't have to.
Should we go into Paxton?
We'll go into Paxton.
Let's go into Paxton.
Go into Paxton. Now, Paxton, he's a little concerned about his image. He is, but he doesn't let it get in the way of super important stuff.
Yes.
We know he cares about his sister. He went back to being friends with Davy even after she lied. And then he personally came to her house to apologize after the thing he said about his sister. And we also know that Paxton does have we think Paxton has some sort of feelings for Davy. And we can see in the beginning, when they were just going to meet up in his garage, you could see that it was just it was nothing about
There were
Davy.
no feelings involved.
Yes. But then, after he went to her house to apologize, and she was like, so, are we going to meet up in your garage again? He was like, no, because you could tell then that there was the shift. There was when he realized that it was different for him.
He had more caring feelings for her.
Yes, he cared.
She wasn't just another girl.
Mm-hmm. He had emotional feelings for her now, and this was different.
Also, I don't know if this is where I should add, Paxton is the first one to save her help her, I guess you would say, when the coyote attacks her.
Coyote.
And he takes her to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he helps her when she falls into the pool after her fight with Fabiola and Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, didn't he drive her?
drives her home.
Yeah, he drives her home. She's always getting in his car.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think that's all I have. Oh, and almost a downside. When I say how, also one thing, whereas Paxton saved her and helped her during those times, Ben just watched.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not well equipped for those kind of situations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Paxton, I feel like it's not really against Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know what to do. It was more of just a difference in how they reacted, like their not the personality, but you know what I mean?
And if I could add another statement, Paxton does seem to be cautious what he does in public with Davy because of his image. When he invited her to be in the group, he was like, she's cool, but then he added on, oh, I only told her because I knew she'd get us an A, you know? And it was like...
Yeah, that could have also been how he felt at that time. Sorry about that, my phone storage was full.
Okay.
But pick up where we left off.
So as I was saying, we do know that Paxton has some sort of feeling for Davy.
Yes.
Because we know originally it was just like, we're gonna go in my garage. Like he goes in, he takes his shirt off, he's like, yes, like let's do this, right?
Like right now.
But after he goes to Davy's house to apologize about the sister thing, he wasn't trying to go in the garage with her again because it was something else for him now.
We said it was awkward, but I think there were feelings involved.
We could tell there was a shift.
Yeah.
He no longer saw her as just the person to go in his garage. It was some sort of connection now.
Yeah, because not that he like knew her more, but you know what I mean? Yeah, they're kind of friends, so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? And you know what? Being that he saved her helped her from the coyote and the pool, he probably feels protective of her too. Mm-hmm. So if he feels protective of her, why would he be just going to the garage? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah. Oh, if I could also add, what are we talking about? Paxton?
Yes.
Also, I have found that Paxton, unlike Ben, is not very good with the emotions. Davy and Paxton don't have a lot of like heart-to-heart conversations, I guess you would say, as much so as Ben and Davy do. But when Davy's actually talking to her in the car about after she had the fight with Fabiola and Eleanor, Paxton goes to kisses her. And I mean, that's okay, but I feel like that's the one time she was like having like an honest, like open conversation, and that's your move. You know what I mean? Like Ben wouldn't have done that.
Like Ben always goes to comfort her and try to make her feel better.
Yes. I remember his sister, he was like, he said, I don't know what his exact words were, but he said something about how he was popular and Davy's kind of known for competing in the National Spelling Bee. And then his sister called him some adjective that was bad, like he's a kind of guy, you know? And then he was like, no, I'm not. And he was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, you are. And it was after that Paxton called Davy, I think, or because she wasn't picking up, or she went to his house, or I don't know what he did actually, but by that time she was kissing Ben. You know, like too late, man. Oh.
Based on our evidence,
Yes,
all of our findings, we have concluded that
our research,
the best person for Davy on the table
is Ben.
Is Ben.
It is Ben.
Here's why. So, number one, we know that Paxton and Ben both have feelings for Davy, but does Davy have feelings for both of them? I am not convinced.
We don't know.
So we know for a fact Davy has some sort of whoop-diddly with Ben. When Ben was at Davy's house for dinner, she told Ben the truth that she didn't even tell her friends, her best friends. And at the end of it all, the person Davy relied on was Ben. She went to his house. All this stuff. But we know when it started off with Paxton, it was just like, oh, Paxton's so attractive. And it was like the mindset. It was just like a fantasy. But do we know if Davy even likes the real Paxton for being Paxton? We don't know. I'm not convinced.
I don't know who initiated when Ben and Davy were kissing in the car, but then it was like a double time.
I think it started out Davy, and then he went back and he went in again.
So we know for a fact that Davy has feelings for Ben. But when Paxton kissed Davy, that was Paxton initiated. She was kind of flustered too. We don't know if she actually had feelings for him. You know what I mean?
She was upset then. She could have been thinking some stuff.
If I could add, I think what it really comes down to is that while Paxton is there when she is physically hurt and stuff, Ben is there for her emotionally. Ben always knows when something's up with her.
He sees behind the lines.
Yes. And he cares about her. I'm not saying Paxton doesn't care about Davy, because if he didn't, he probably would have taken her to the hospital. But it's almost like
it takes something large for him to notice something's wrong. She has to fall on the
they have this connection. They understand each other. Davy and Paxton do not understand each other, is what I think. Not that there's something that they just don't understand, but Ben and Davy just have this, like, unspoken understanding. Like, they're both trying to be, like, valedictorian and stuff. They're both, like, really overachievers, I guess.
And they both push each other to be better with this rivalry.
Yes, they do.
And, in addition,
they keep them on their toes, I think her mother said.
And Ben and Davy have no problem being together, seen or whatever. Paxton has some kind of thing where it's like he's embarrassed to be seen with Davy. That's never a whoop diddly with Ben. He would never try to hide Davy.
Yes. I don't know if this is relevant, but I feel like Ben is almost being kind of used because his girlfriend's using him for his money. Whereas Davy doesn't care about Ben's money. Of course she liked living in his house when she was on bad terms with her mother when they wanted to go to India.
She never made a big deal of it though.
Yeah. Which I would almost say is kind of opposing to Paxton caring about being seen with Davy, I think, is what I would say. Is that it?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
So, that was our analysis.
On the love triangle and Never Have I Ever between Ben, Davy, and Paxton.
Yes.
I don't know, how should we end the video?
Well, that's it.
Have a nice day.
That's all we gotta say.
Have a nice day.
Or night, we don't know where you are. Have a nice existence.
Have a nice existence.
Yes.